I'm pleased to introduce Riley Driggs, who is doing a Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 1 Evaluation and Feedback number 1, 5 to 7 minutes. The reason it's a number 1 is it's a 2-part path. You do a speech, then you get feedback, and then you do the speech again on at another meeting. The title of the speech is Balancing the Books. I'm welcoming Riley Driggs, Balancing the Books, Riley Driggs.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Who here has seen one of these before? It may have been a while for some of you. I know that it's been a while for me having my very own checkbook. I recently got this because my apartment complex decided that paying online was an extra $3. And I'm not about that life. I am a certified penny pincher. And I was having a conversation with my mom recently and realized that even though I don't do the front of my checkbook, which is where traditionally people would balance their books, they would write a check and then they would put it in their check register. They would say, hey, I just wrote somebody a check for this amount of money, so I need to make sure that I have that on there so I don't accidentally spend it again and not have it in the bank. And I don't do that on paper, but I have started doing that on our amazing technology and Excel. But I wasn't always this way. Surprisingly, even though I work in an accounting firm, I'm in sales. And you would think, wow, you should know so much about money. But I grew up in a home where we were pretty affluent. I didn't have to worry about money. If I wanted something, my parents usually bought it for me. I had a nice house. We always had food on the table. My dad even had extra money for ridiculous things that you would never think to own, like a jump house or like a cotton candy machine. And so when I became an adult and had a child of my own, I found myself in a situation where all of a sudden I was a single mom and I was recently divorced and had no job. And for a while, it was like that. And I had my parents help me because they were able to until I finally got my first job and I was making $500 a month, which, as you can imagine, is not quite enough to live on your own, raise a child, rent in Las Vegas, Nevada. And so I had to make a mindset change. First of all, I had to find the motivation to find a job that wasn't just a couple hours a week so that I could actually afford things. But even with that, I was coming from a place with very little experience, and I got a job that I'm very proud of, but that definitely would not lend to the lifestyle that I was raised in. I didn't have money to buy a cotton candy machine. I didn't have money to just get what I wanted. For the first time, I realized that just because I wanted something a lot didn't mean that I was entitled to get it or had the money to. And that is when I started my very first online or Excel spreadsheet. It started out very simple: rent, electricity, gas, my payment to my student loans. And pretty soon I realized that balancing the books helps you realize that you're spending money in ways that you never thought. And it was in 2022 that I added a line to my budget that said candy and sweets. And I realized I was spending over $100 a month in just candy, which you may think is impossible, but you would be surprised at my ability to eat a whole pack of Oreos like I did today. And these little changes started to help me to live within my means, to go from a place where I was used to not looking at my personal books, my checkbook, to a point where now I know everything that I spend. There's not a single possibility that somebody would ever be able to get my credit card and spend money on it without me knowing, because I know every penny that I spend. And this has been a really life-changing thing for me. And I know that, especially as, and many of you may not be in this situation, but someday maybe you will be. And I hope that you guys remember to balance your books, whether it's physical or whether it's online. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.